Today we are going to talk about three-dimensional objects. Three-dimensional objects are traditionally called solid, even though they might just be empty shells. Look at something like, looks like this. Those with their surfaces flat are called polyhedra, such as what we call prisms or pyramid. Those with their surfaces curved, like this, is what we call a sphere, or sometimes we have got what we call an eggshells. Those with some surfaces flat and some curved is what we got a cone or a cylinders. Three-dimensional objects are built from two-dimensional shapes. So to understand three-dimensional objects, let's step back and look at two-dimensional shapes. Two-dimensional shapes are shapes that have length or width or length or height. They lie flat. They have got no depths. So for example, we have something that looks like this. When we come to look at three-dimensional objects, something else is happening. So for example, if I have got two shapes joined together, like so, in this case I've got three, when I join them together, where the sides join together, that's what we call an edge. If I then join all of them together, I suddenly have got what we call, instead of corners, this we have three corners joined together. They are called vertices. And where the surface that is flat is what we call faces. Three-dimensional objects, the first group we want to look at is what we call polyhedra. Polyhedra means many faces. So let's have a look at these shapes. Let's have a look at this one. So this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's called a pentahedra. This one, because its base, it's a pentagon, so we know we have 5 faces, 6, 7, so it's called heptahedron. This one has got 4 faces, so we call this a tetrahedron, like so. We can also have got other shapes that looks like this. Now this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know we have 8 faces surrounding and 9, 10. So they are called decahedron. Now of course, when we look at shapes like these, we know that they also can group in terms of different kind of family. So the first group of family we are going to look at is what we call prisms. Prisms, the word prisms comes from Greek. It means to cut. That means if I cut the shapes horizontally, I will get 2 identical shapes. Prisms are made of 2 identical bases with parallel faces. So, and they are called according to the name of the base. So for example, this one that everybody calls a cube can be named as a square base prism. This one, because it's got triangular faces as a base, it's called a triangular base prism. This one has got a pentagon base, so it's called a pentagonal base prism. Sometimes when you get a prism that looks like this and it's been cut, this is what we call a truncated square base prism. Now there's another lot of shapes that we call pyramid. Pyramids are made of different base with a triangular faces facing and joining at the top. So in this one we have, because it's a square base, it's called a square base pyramid. This one has got a triangular base, so it's called a triangular base pyramid. So how would you name this object? Well, let's have a look. It's got a pentagon base as a shape with triangular faces, so it's called a pentagonal base pyramid. Cylinders comes from Greek. It means to roll. It means shapes that you can roll around. So it's made of two circular shapes on top with a curved surfaces around. Sometimes you get a cylinder that is being cut. In this case, we'll call it a truncated cylinder. The next lot is what we call a mixture of flat surfaces and curved surfaces. In this case, this is the one that we call a cone. We also have what we call a semisphere. So let's have a look at this one. How would you call it? It's got a square base. It's got triangular faces. You can call it as a square base pyramid. But if you have a closer look, most of the pyramid has the apex is perpendicular to the center of the base, whereas this one, the apex is sitting on the side. What we call this is an oblique square base pyramid.